Home prices and home sales plunge in Miami while inventory keeps skyrocketing. And 2022 ended up being the second biggest total sales and condo sales year ever in Miami, despite the increase in the interest rates that we saw last year. However, we cannot say the same for December 2022 and actually for the last few months of last year. So last month of 2022 data just got released, and there is so much to talk about in this video, like researchers predicting that Miami's housing market will defy cost correction as blue state exodus continues. I mean, so many headlines about Miami escaping this price correction in the US according to different sources and different experts. So let's get into it. Sharon Colón, your favorite Miami real estate agent here. As I say, there's so much to talk about in this video between the latest data, the headlines, but more specifically about new foreclosure data that I will share at the end of this video. So keep watching until the end. And before we continue, I would like to know from you what you think about these headlines. Do you agree? Are the blue state exodus helping us in anyway? Comment below. I would like to hear from you. All right, let's talk about the latest released data. When we look at Miami's December 2022 sales numbers, we're seeing a huge decrease, higher than the previous month, a 48.2% year over year, from 3,433 to 1,779. And yet, we need to think that we are comparing a record 2021 year, but we also need to think that today's mortgage rates have doubled versus a year ago, and the market has low inventory in specific price points. For example, the single family inventory in the $400,000 to $600,000 price range is at 2.6 months of supply right now, and we're going to talk about the overall inventory in a bit, but I just wanted to point that out. If we break down the sales, we are seeing that single family home sales decreased 45.1% and condo sales decreased 50.2% from 2021, a year that was a completely historic year. Well, it's a fact. We are going to keep seeing less and less sales because we are comparing this to an unprecedented year, and this is a common denominator in different experts' forecasts for this year because we also have higher mortgage rates and buyers have been priced out with the higher mortgage rates. Here's a graph showing the total home sales decrease in Miami-Dade with the darker purple color, in Broward County the lighter color, and this is since April of 2021. As you can see, sales have been going down, so that is a fact. As far as the median price, single family home median prices increased 1.1% year over year to $530,000, but decreased 3.5% from November with $550,000. Now, same for the condo and townhomes data. The median price for condo increased 5.5% to $374,000 from last year, but decreased 5.1% from November with $395,000. So as you can see from these tables, we have been seeing double digits positive changes for the last year in the percent change year over year column. However, I'm guessing these will start to change in the next few months. I don't think there will be a huge fall, or let's say a huge different either, since we still have the demand and low inventory. All right, moving on to the inventory. Total active inventory increased 18.9% year over year from 8,997 to 10,706, and if we split this into single family homes and condo, that is an increase of 57.7% from single family homes year over year and 3.6% increase for condo in December 2022. That means that month supply of inventory increased for both. Single family homes now have 4 months, it doubled from last year, and condo now has 4.1 months. So we're still in a seller's market with low inventory, but it is worth clarifying that even though we're still in a seller's market, buyers now have the possibility of getting concessions when submitting an offer. And in fact, home buyers who decide to buy in 2023 will find fairly more supply in the market and will also face less buyer competition. Yet we could possibly see some 1 or 2 liked bidding wars between two families looking for a very specific home, since, you know, we have low inventory, especially in that range that I say, the 400 to 600,000 price range that I mentioned, which does have 2.6 months of supply. But overall, it is indeed a completely different market with relatively more inventory. And I must say that the increase in inventory is directly proportional to how long they go under contract. And in December, single family homes took 35 days to go under contract, and that is an increase of 84.2% from last year that only was taking 19 days to go under contract, and 13% longer than the previous month with 31 days, meaning properties are taking way longer to sell, putting buyers in a better position where they could possibly negotiate the price with the sellers and possibly other things too. Now, knowing these numbers, do you think it is time to buy your property? What do you think? Comment below. Let's talk now about foreclosures, and I will give you my insight after the different headlines about this topic in specific, so don't go anywhere. As a friendly reminder, this channel is all about Miami, about real estate and new projects in South Florida, so subscribe to get all the latest news in the button below. Alright, a few days ago, headlines like this one with US foreclosure filings surge 115% in 2022, and here's another one. Foreclosure filing rose 115% in the past year. And you know, there's another one. US foreclosure activity doubles annually, but still below pre-pandemic levels. And while they are very alarming headlines, very scary, they do share some facts. But they also are hiding the real information behind this, and I'm going to break this down for you. So let's start with this quote from Adam Data. Adam, a leading curator of real estate data nationwide for land and property data, today released its year-end 2022 U.S. foreclosure market report, which shows foreclosure filings, default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions were reported on 324,237 U.S. properties in 2022, up 115% from 2021, but down 34% from 2019 before the pandemic shook up the market. Foreclosure filings in 2022 were also down 89% from a peak of nearly 2.9 million in 2010. Alrighty, so as usual, the media is trying to keep you reading with headlines like this. However, when you look at what the data is actually telling us, is that foreclosure are up 115% from 2021, but they still down below 34% lower from the years prior to 2020, and certainly nowhere near where the foreclosures filings peaked over 2.9 million in 2010. And let me add a little more information. Take a look at this graph so you can visualize what I just said a little better. Yes, the foreclosure activity in the US doubled. That's true. That's a fact. However, it is still below the years prior to 2020. As you can see, this graph shows data foreclosure filings, and it's going all the way back to 2005. This is showing how many foreclosure filings were filed in the US, and we can see where we are today. 2022 is far below those peak levels that we saw when the real estate market crashed. For 2021 and 2022 numbers, yes, those numbers doubled, and it is not surprising when we saw forbearance programs and we saw the moratorium that was put on foreclosures. These were factors that took foreclosure filings to historic lows. That 115% increase is not surprising at all. What we have to remember, which is usual for the media, is that they want to put everything tragic, so very scary, and that is not what the data shows. The data shows we're still far below those peak times, yet still unfortunate that 324,000 families had to file out foreclosure, and we absolutely don't want that to a family or to a homeowner to happen, of course. But when we compare these to 2009 or 2010 with 2.9 million foreclosure filings per year, we are nowhere near to a wave of foreclosure coming to the market. In fact, homeowners are sitting right now with a lot of home equity, giving the possibility to the owners to sell rather than go into the foreclosure process. Even though we are going to see this number rise as expected, expected. It is not what the media or the headlines are trying for you to think, that a massive crash is coming to the market. Now, if we talk about foreclosures for our local market, only 1.2% of all closed residential sales in Miami were distressed last month, including foreclosures and short sales, compared to 1% in December 2021. When looking for information, do not pay attention to only the headlines, okay? That's my best recommendation. Make sure to read the factual data and compare it with others too. And hey, did you know that you can schedule a meeting with me super easy and fast by clicking the link below? Easy peasy. Remember, I do these market updates every month, and I always bring you new construction communities happening in South Florida. In fact, here is a video I did talking about the best new construction projects for investors. So I'll see you there.